Today, a deputy testified that a Pulaski County woman told them she put her boyfriend's body in a freezer because she was embarrassed how messy her house was.
One of Lexington's most controversial parks turns 100 years old next year. Coming up, we'll tell you how community leaders plan to celebrate.
And this kiddie playland is not what it appears to be. How one con man used it to steal millions, coming up.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good evening to you. Investigators say they can't find anything suspicious yet about the way a Southern Kentucky man died, but his girlfriend is still facing charges in connection with his death.
Police in Pulaski County say Teresa Owens kept Gary Jenks' body in a freezer in the living room of his home. Owens is charged with evidence tampering and abuse of a corpse. Today she was in court for her preliminary hearing. Victor Puente tells us why Owens says she put Jenks' body in a freezer in our top story at 5:30.
The detective who testified today said Teresa Owens told them she put her boyfriend's body in the freezer because she was embarrassed at how messy their home was. Deputy Joseph Johnson said they found Gary Jenks' body on September 29th after his daughter reported him missing. He said they went to Jenks' home and Owens told them he had left with another woman. They came back with a search warrant.
And within a minute of being inside a residence, we located a freezer covered up by blue tarp. And inside the blue tarp was a deceased human body.
The detective said Jenks' body was mostly in the freezer with the hands and feet bound.
She stated that Mr. Jenks had a stroke, she assumed, and didn't wake up that morning on the 5th of September.
Johnson said she had had the freezer delivered the next day, the 6th of September. He said the medical examiner didn't find any obvious signs of trauma, and Owens believed he had died of a stroke.
She stated, Ms. Owens stated that she panicked. She was embarrassed of her house. She panicked and didn't know what to do, so it wasn't a logical thing to do. That's what she done, and she couldn't go back from there.
Owens' attorney argued that the tampering with physical evidence charge should be dropped because at the time there was no investigation into Jenks' death. Judge Catherine Wood decided there was enough evidence to send the case on to the grand jury. In Pulaski County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
The deputy said they're still waiting on blood work before deciding if Jenks' death was foul play.
In our county-by-county coverage at 5:30, we're tracking stories in Nelson, Pike, and Madison counties. In Nelson County, a man is in jail tonight charged with rape and sodomy. Bardstown police say 37-year-old Owen Lee Maddox of New Haven was arrested earlier today. Police say Maddox raped and sodomized a woman on October 6th. They say that when Maddox was arrested, he admitted to the sodomy charge. Other charges are possible, and one other person may be charged as well. In Pike County, a teenager has been arrested accused of stealing a school bus. School officials say the bus was on the driver's property in the lower Johns Creek area when someone started it and then drove off. Police say they later arrested 19-year-old David Farley for illegal use of a school bus. Farley was also charged with driving under the influence, fleeing and evading police, and several other charges. Officials say the bus was not damaged and it was used today. In Madison County, police are looking for a man wanted for breaking into an auto repair store. Richmond police released a surveillance photo of the suspect this afternoon. They say this man broke into Richmond Auto Repair on Saturday morning around 5:30. We're told the man stole a pass-load nail gun, which is worth about $450.
After a beautiful fall day, we are tracking rain moving in tonight, and some spots could see storms. Meteorologist Jim Caldwell is here with an early look at the forecast. Jim, a nice afternoon.
Well, it's fantastic out there right now. It won't happen until later on this evening and into tonight that we start tracking those showers or those thunder showers, but some of them might have a little bit of a bite with some lightning, thunder, and very gusty winds. We've been experiencing that so far today, just winds out ahead of that line of showers and thunderstorms. It's now moving through southern parts of Indiana here for you. That's going to be the target area that we get our energy from, and you can kind of see how it's just barreling along through there. So all the arrows indicating it's headed right toward us here across the Commonwealth and will be sweeping in. What's going to be a little more interesting is what comes behind it. It's going to be the cold air because that lingers. The rain comes and goes. The cooler air will be here with us as we go into the early morning. We got 50s, which isn't bad for tomorrow morning, but it's this. The highs for tomorrow only showing up in the mid-60s in most cases. And that'll hang around into the Wednesday. Thursday gets a little bit of a spike. But let's break it all down here for you. We've got the rain later on this evening into tonight. Much cooler air coming in. But this is only the beginning, because the next round is even cooler. 50s, 40s. Oh, it's going to be a big-time change toward the end of the week. We will track it coming up for you here in a few minutes, guys.
Thanks, Jim. It's a park that's had a bad reputation lately, but Lexington leaders hope to change that.
Douglas Park is turning 100 years old next year, and several groups are already coming together to celebrate the park's centennial. New at 5:30, Mike Linden tells us what plans the city has to bring people back to Douglas Park.
One of Lexington's most controversial public parks is hitting a big milestone just months after a shooting over a basketball game that resulted in several people going to the hospital. Douglas Park turns 100 years old next year.
The park kind of is the heart of the West End. And whenever you see the heart suffering, you want to do all you can to help heal it and to get it better.
To celebrate the centennial and help heal the heart of the West End, Lexington Mayor Jim Gray, city council members, and other community leaders announced Douglas Days this afternoon. Volunteers will help clean up the park and plant trees on October 23rd and 24th. Well, if you come to Douglas Park in the coming days and notice white flags scattered throughout the park, those are the locations that volunteers will plant 100 trees to celebrate the 100th birthday of Douglas Park. With the help of the Georgetown Street Area Neighborhood Association, Douglas Days organizers from Lexington Habitat for Humanity say the event aims to make the next 100 years at the West End Park special and safer for the community.
We need to communicate that this is a safe place to be, and it's a beautiful place to be, and it's a well-equipped space which undergirds all of those other things.
In Lexington, Mike Linden, WKYT.
To go along with Douglas Days, the Lexington City Council has formed the Douglas Park Centennial Commission. It will try and find ways to bring more people to the park over the next year, including resurfacing the basketball court and a newly redesigned playground.
New tonight, Lexington police have released the traffic plans for Thursday to help drivers deal with UK game day traffic. Nicholasville Road will have 2 lanes running north and 2 running south during the afternoon rush hour. Drivers should expect some delays. Alumni Drive between Nicholasville Road and Tates Creek will be restricted to game day traffic only. Traffic on Tates Creek Road will not be changed. People with parking passes are asking to have them hanging from their mirrors before getting to Commonwealth Stadium. A new bridge in downtown Louisville is opening months ahead of schedule. Governor Steve Beshear announced today cars will be crossing the bridge before Christmas. The bridge was originally supposed to open to two-way traffic in April of next year, but officials say they're on budget and ahead of schedule. An exact date of the bridge's opening will be determined at a later date, and a name for it has not yet been picked out.
You know, it's exciting to be here and actually stand on a bridge that for decades was just a nebulous vision mired in decades of disagreement.
When the new bridge opens, the Kennedy Bridge will be closed for construction. That bridge is expected to reopen late next year. As far as tolls for the new bridge, the application for the Easy Pass toll system has been sent off. It's currently being reviewed.
His target, members of a church congregation. His goal, to steal millions from their savings. As Sam Dick reports, this fraudulent scheme has a long trail of victims.
Bumper cars, pizza, climbing walls, and video games. They all sound like a child's perfect play date, right? But the Go-Go Gorillas Fun Center is actually at the heart of a multi-million-dollar investment fraud case.
The fraud involved him offering investment opportunities in this project. He sold securities which were not registered with the state, and he and his salespeople were not licensed as security brokers.
He is Christopher Turner, a man who pitched investors to expand the Fun Center along with other community business ventures.
He pretended to be such a honest, decent Christian man, and you never heard anything bad out of him.
Eileen Severance trusted Turner because friends, family, and fellow churchgoers all seemed to believe in him. She also wanted to help her community.
It was going to be great for the kids, which I think it would have been, and it was going to be a good thing for the community and provide some jobs for the young people, and it sounded like a really good idea.
She thought she was supporting a Christian-based company. In the end, the only person who made money on this was Chris Turner.
Over time, Eileen invested more than $1 million of her savings with Turner, but that's just the beginning of her losses.
He used their financial information to apply for additional lines of credit without their knowledge.
Come find out he was, you know, using credit cards in my name and forging loans and big mortgage on my property. And I mean, he was just evil.
Her losses skyrocketed to $2.5 million. She wasn't alone. 100 victims lost $5 million.
Sometimes victims don't want to hear it. You know, they don't want to think they're a victim. They don't want to admit they've been tricked. And sometimes they just really like the person who's cheated them before they realize that they are indeed a victim.
That was our Sam Dick reporting. Turner is currently serving a 10-year prison sentence. He's been ordered to pay more than $4.5 million in restitution to victims.
The candidates for Kentucky Attorney General are preparing to go head-to-head.
And candidate for Governor Jack Conway says it won't be easy to find the money that he needs to do what he wants. Bill Bryant is talking to Conway in the Bottom Line.
Good evening. Kentucky's increasingly tense race for Attorney General may see more drama tonight when the two partisan candidates make a joint statewide appearance on KET's Kentucky Tonight with Bill Goodman. Democrat Andy Beshear and Republican Whitney Westerfield have tussled over who is funding each other's campaigns and who has the most relevant experience. The two will be in front of live cameras beginning at 8 o'clock this evening on KET. Democratic nominee for Governor Jack Conway is acknowledging that his calls for increased spending for early childhood education, as well as dedicating money to shore up state pensions and other initiatives that he would like to see done, would require cuts elsewhere in state government. I asked him about that during Kentucky Newsmakers in an interview that will air this weekend. Where does this money come from? Where do you cut state government elsewhere to make those things
Well, I think
happen?
we can always find efficiencies in state government. And look, I have a positive track record here, Bill. I cut my own office's budget by 40%. We may have to take a look at some issues as to how large is the transportation fleet the state's maintaining. Can we cut there? Are there certain functions in public protection that are duplicative of what we're doing at the local government? And can we be more efficient there? We're projecting a $219 million surplus. You know, where does some of that money go and what are the priorities? Look, I will readily acknowledge that we can't afford everything.
Again, the interview with Conway will air this coming Sunday. Our interview with Republican Matt Bevin aired this last weekend and is available on demand at KentuckyNewsmakers.com. Several of the presidential candidates are in New Hampshire today campaigning for the first in the nation primary. The Democrats will be heading out to Las Vegas tomorrow, where frontrunner Hillary Clinton will be placed right in the middle of the CNN stage, where she can be easily questioned by other candidates. It is still unknown if Vice President Joe Biden is getting in, but that answer is expected any time. Kentucky's nursing home industry is seeking some relief from what it calls heavy-handed state oversight. It comes despite a recent review that shows some instances where residents were mistreated. The Courier-Journal has been looking into more than 100 reports about nursing homes. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
They are turning the county pink literally. Community members are painting Perry County pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Businesses are decorating their buildings with everything pink. The annual competition is meant to raise awareness and send the message that early detection saves lives.
Going to do this all through the month of October and to let people be aware that it's a good time to get your screenings and you know, participate, help the community.
If you think about it, then you think, hey, maybe I need to go talk to a doctor. I haven't had a yearly physical, or I haven't been screened. And like I said, the earlier you can catch cancer, the more likely you can beat it. And that's our goal.
There are medical and non-medical divisions. Judging takes place October 20th.